Hey Sagittarius, it's Erica with Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. I apologize for the construction sounds in the background, but if any of the signs can understand what's going on right now, it's y'all. The background of your life probably sounds like what's going on outside right now and has since about the end of 2014. That's Saturn in your sign. I'm sorry, y'all. It sucks, but this too shall pass. It might be like a kidney stone, but it will pass. Okay. So this is your new moon forecast, but before I do that, I want to give a couple of quick announcements. The first being, welcome, wow, and thank you to the almost 300 new subscribers that have joined this channel in the last month. Holy guacamole, I am so shocked and awed. It's not even funny. I do not have the words to say thank you enough. I'm so full of gratitude. Y'all are blowing me away. My private readings are still on hold. I'm still having issues with my financial institutions wanting to get their acts together. So I'm patiently working with that, and Saturn is in my second house, so I do understand the struggle y'all are dealing with. Secondly, I will have a lot of different video links below. This is because the new moon that we're experiencing in August, it will be reflecting what's going on in July and June for the new moon cycles, and I want you to be able to see the issues highlighted between the Saturn and Neptune square specifically. The last video that I'm going to have up for you is a 1 degree Sagittarius vlog, which is in response to a really sad situation that occurred for me at the very beginning of the summer. It's dealing with the fixed star Antares, which will speak very strongly to the astrology mid-month. The final announcement is I'm issuing an Astro Nerd heads up. That's what I call it. The next video series that I'm going to be releasing is for the full moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Aquarius on August 18th. So as soon as I'm done with these videos, I'm going to start working on the next ones. Hopefully the construction outside will be finished by then. Once again, this Astro Nerds heads up also deals with the solar eclipse that will be happening in September, and it will be once again squaring Saturn, which is something that has kind of been highlighted with the Saturn square Neptune situation. It'll be highlighting fear and guilt for us, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get to your personalized astrology, which will definitely be for the Sagittarius sun and risers. But the tarot can speak to sun, moon, or rising. So with that, I'll be right back with your personal astrology or general astrology, Sagittarius. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Y'all are just completely flooring me. I'll be right back. Hey Sagittarius, it's Erica. Okay, on the 2nd of August, we're going to have a new moon in Leo at 10 degrees, 57 minutes, which is almost 11 degrees. The Sabian symbol didn't have a whole lot of intuitive meat for me to chew on, so we're just going to go on to the astrology. The Sun, the Moon, and Venus will all be in your 9th house for this new moon. The Sun represents your life force and creative abilities. The Moon represents your responses and your intuition, and Venus represents love, harmony, and beauty. It can also speak to resources. The 9th house speaks to long-distance trips, adventures and questing, higher education, religion, philosophy, and also legal matters. There will be an easy trine flow of energy from the Sun to Saturn. So that will be to your 9th house, from your 9th house to your 1st house. Saturn in your 1st house, Saturn is the planet of limitation, structure, and containment. And the 1st house speaks to personality, your physical body, and appearance. The 1st house is the physical representation of who you are. Now, Saturn in your 1st house will be squaring Neptune in your 4th house, which will present stressful obstacles. Neptune is the planet of nebulousness, illusion, imagination. It can also speak to addiction or borders, boundaries, and people not staying in their lane, if you will, is another way to look at it. The 4th house speaks to home and family. Home can be where you live or where you consider home. Family can be your immediate family, including children and or fur babies, or it could speak to your mother and or father. Now, You're also going to be having Mercury and Jupiter in your 10th house. Mercury is the planet of movement, thought, and communication. Jupiter is the planet of excess, expansion, and achievement. The 10th house is the house of career, destiny, reputation, status. It's the stage that you approach the world on, and it's how the world knows you. So you may be getting some good news in your career sector around the new moon. You're also going to have the planet Uranus newly retrograde in your 5th house. Uranus is the planet of change, liberation, and rebellion. It can also be the planet of shocks and surprises. And the 5th house speaks to pleasures, social life, children, and creativity. The fact that you're having a shock from Uranus in your 5th house could definitely mean that you might pop up pregnant, or you might want to buy a lottery ticket, because the 5th house also speaks to gambling and lottery. I spoke about Neptune in the 4th house. You've also got Chiron, the Centaur asteroid, which represents where you're wounded and where you're in need of healing. It's also in the 4th house. It speaks to home and family. Home being where you live or where you consider your home. Family being your immediate family, children and or fur babies, or your parents. Pluto is in your 2nd house, and I understand this pretty seriously because Saturn's transiting my 2nd house. Pluto is the planet of deep renewal and deep transformation. The 2nd house speaks to money, possessions, earning ability, and self-esteem. So you could be going through a transformative period, and this is a long transit for you in the 2nd house. So your money, your earning ability, and self-esteem could be undergoing a deep transformation. On the 3rd, we have Mars moving into your 1st house. Mars is the planet of energy, impulse, and aggression, so you may start feeling a little bit hotter just on a physical level, because I know I did when Mars was close to my ascendant sign. Mars sat at 23 degrees Scorpio for almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think, and Lord have mercy, I was feeling it. I felt like I was having hot flashes, and it's not time for me to be having them yet. Anyways, I digress. You will be feeling the burn, and that's not politically speaking, because of Mars in the 1st house. Mars and Saturn being in your 1st house, I'm going to get more to this a little bit further down, but I really definitely stress that you go watch the Antaurus vlog that I will have posted in the description below. I'm not the kind of reader that would just insist you to go back and watch older videos of mine, but this very much speaks to some things that could be manifesting for you in your world, so you need to... I'm trying to empower you with as much information as possible. It definitely is going to impact you, and it's something that I went through just a few years ago. On the 6th, we have Venus moving into your 10th house with Mercury and Jupiter. So you may be getting news of a raise at around this time, which is nice. Or you may be getting news of more hours, or getting to work overtime, or maybe making new friends, female friends in the work sector. The 12th through the 17th, we have the Jupiter-Chiron opposition between your 10th house and your 4th house. Jupiter being in your 10th house, Chiron being in your 4th house. The 10th house deals with your career. The 4th house deals with your home and family. So there's going to be a need for balance there. And this is what I'm talking about with the Antaurus vlog. On the 13th, Saturn will be stationed direct, sitting still at 9 degrees Sagittarius in your 1st house. So you have Saturn, Mars, and Antaurus all happening in your 1st house. This is a hazardous time for y'all. And it speaks to fire, guns, and possibly car wrecks. I had a house fire occur in the middle of the night. It was not my fault. My neighbor's house caught on fire because she was smoking, and the wind just happened to be blowing my way. And I almost didn't wake up. The night that happened, there were many astrological things going on in my chart. Of them, Saturn was in my 1st house, and it was on top of Antaurus, just like what's going to be happening here. So it has me rather worried for you, Sagittarius. Please be very careful. Understand that it could be a trepidatious time for you. And once again, I'm not trying to scare you. I am trying to empower you. I do not want to see anybody go through the hell that I went through. And if I can save one person from that, then me going through it was enough. It wasn't fun. I still deal with PTSD and all kinds of stuff. If you want to know more about that, there are videos talking about that, and I will let you know if you want to know about it. But moving on, because this isn't about me, this is about y'all. On the 18th, I spoke about it in the introduction, there will be a full moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Aquarius, and this will be occurring in your third house. Third house, and this even more so has me concerned for y'all, dealing with fire, guns, and car wrecks because of the third house being the house of communication, short distance journeys, siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So this energy can play out in any one of those houses, but because a lot of it is in the first house, that represents you and your body, your physicality. Please be very careful. I'm a mom. I worry. And if you're watching this channel, even if I don't know you, if you're watching this channel, I love you. My soul needs to get this message to you. Take care of yourselves. I'm sorry that I'm using such a strong tone, but I can't help but be concerned with what I'm seeing play out in the astrology for you. I'm a Scorpio riser. I just had Saturn go through my sign, and it was very much a life-death rebirth situation. I am not the individual that I was on October 9th, 2014. Very, very early, October 10th, 2014, my entire world changed, and it is still changing almost 2 years later. Please, please, please use caution in everything that you do. I'm going to transition to the tarot. I hope that Spirit brings forth some more messages to empower you and enlighten your path along the way. I'll be right back, y'all. Hang tight. Hey, y'all. I'm back with the cards. I'm going to be speaking a little louder because things are getting a little louder outside. I really feel like this construction, I mean, obviously it's happening for a reason, but it's happening while I'm doing your sign, because I feel like that's exactly what your world has felt like, is nothing but under construction. And that can be my Sagittarius suns, moons, or rising. I have a lot of Sagittarius energy in my friends. I seem to attract a lot of Sages in my life. So, I got nothing but love for y'all. This, Antaurus thing on the 13th has really, really got me concerned. It can be life-changing. It can be life-ending. You don't have any 8th house energy, life, death, or rebirth, but because so much of it is 1st house energy, I've lived through the experience of Saturn on top of Antaurus, especially if Sagittarius is your rising sign. Definitely, definitely, definitely be careful. Because something big is going to happen. I don't know what, because I don't know your personal charts, but something big is going to happen. And put down in the comments below what's going on for y'all so we can learn from each other's energy. Because what happens for one Sag is not what is going to happen for another. It'll happen to clusters of people that have energy that mimics one another, but it won't be the same for everyone. But it'll have the same sort of flavor, the same sort of theme. I'm really trying to shuffle these good. I have meditated and shuffled the hell out of these cards off camera because I really want Spirit to come through for me on this. I want this to knock out of the park for y'all, because I would have given anything to had somebody like me barking in my ear just a week, 2 weeks before it happened, just to be careful, be alert. Because my fire alarms failed, y'all. I had 2 fire alarms. They failed. Yeah, I had people throwing stuff at my house trying to wake me up. I do not want to see y'all have to go through that. Please put batteries, make sure your smoke alarms have batteries in them at all times. Make sure they're fresh. Okay. One more. Y'all, I'm nervous. I'm nervous for y'all, and I don't mean to get y'all hype about it. I can't help it. I can't help it. Bottom card for the underlying theme or the overarching energy, and the top 3 for clarity. I'm going to grab a oracle card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. It is by Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. This is my favorite oracle card deck in the world. That's why I use it so much. I have Uranus in my first house natally, so it speaks to me being a rebel. Pretty hardcore. And I'm an Aries sun, so Uranus is an Aries too, so I'm really feeling some rebellious energy going on. I'm 36 years old. If I could have rainbow colored hair and not have people look at me like I'm just flat stinking crazy in a debate tournament, I would do it in a heartbeat. But I can't pull all of that off. I can be 36 and debating. I don't know. I had really bright red, like Jessica Rabbit red hair when the fire struck. I may go back to that if I can find it. I lost my stash of hair color in the fire. It broke my heart. I can be vain. We all can be a little vain. One more shuffle for y'all, Sagittarius. I really don't want y'all to panic. I do love y'all, and I want the urgency to come across. That this is a very important time for y'all to really watch your step, watch yourself, watch your step, watch other people around you. Just be careful. There's a lot of heated energy going on right now, and Taurus sitting on top of y'all really, really scares me. What in the world? I'm sorry, y'all. No, this card has come up in every reading, be it in the reverse or upright. It was your first in the top 3 for clarity. Ooh, goodness gracious. Yeah, y'all have some stuff going on. It's very... Okay, I was writing down the card numbers, giving myself a chance to breathe and not be so overwhelmed. You got 3 major arcana out of 4 cards. So, it's coming. Whatever it is, it's coming. That sounded so redundant. Whatever it is, it's coming. I'm sorry. You got the Emperor, which is the 4th card in the major arcana. The 4th card, or the number 4, speaks to the 4th house for me, which is home and family. Home can be where you live or where you consider home. Family can be your immediate family and or fur babies, or your parents, who you consider your parents. If it's not that, it could speak to an Aries, because the Emperor represents the zodiac sign Aries. Look at these ram heads right here. Also, he's in red, which would represent fire sign energy for me. So if it's not an Aries, I mean, it could be an Aries sun, moon, or rising. I'm an Aries sun, and I'm giving you this message. It could be representative of me. Who knows? The Emperor represents Aries, like I said. Aries represents like initiation, and they're very courageous. He looks like he's won a couple battles. Here he looks like he has a little bit of life experience as well. But they can be fierce. They can be very forceful. They have a very strong presence to them. But they can be impulsive. They're very reactive. They're emotionally reactive. And I'm saying that as an Aries sun. I know all about that life. It represents as well like the male principle, or even the planet Mars, because Aries is ruled by Mars. It also represents taking responsibility, owning your own power, and being ambitious, trying to be the emperor on your throne, winning the game of thrones in your world. Yes, I'm one of those nerds. So yeah, you are having Mars move into your first house, dealing with taking responsibility. That could speak to the 10th house energy that's going on, because that also deals with authorities. You may be dealing with somebody in a leadership, authoritative position that is making you take responsibility for your actions. And that definitely sounds a lot like Saturn being in your sign. Saturn being the planet of limitation, structure, and containment. So this person, if they're not an Aries, or they're not a fire sign, Aries, Leo, or you, Sagittarius, then it's like your boss or a parent. Possibly your father, father-in-law, or the father of your children. The first card is the Hanged Man, and like I said, when I was thank you, Spirit One, because I shuffled the snot out of those cards. So this is definitely a message that is meant and intended for you very, very strongly. The Hanged Man has shown up in every reading I've done so far. It is the 12th card of the Major Arcana, the 12th. The 12 represents the 12th house for me, which is the house of secrets that you keep from yourself, karma, repression, limitation. It's the house of self-undoing. It's also the house of secret enemies. If it doesn't speak to your 12th house, then we can go deeper on what the Hanged Man represents in the Tarot. The Hanged Man in the Tarot represents Neptune, and Saturn in your first house is squaring Neptune in your 4th house, which is dealing with your home and family. Possibly your parents. If not, then the house that you live in. You could be having water problems in your house, or an issue where water isn't working, or you're having a leak or something like that, because Neptune represents water as well. Being in the home, you know, I want to throw that out there. Sorry. But the Hangman represents Neptune, and Neptune is a planet of nebulousness, illusion, imagination. It's also a very spiritual planet. It represents spirituality. The Hanged Man, it always speaks to me about looking at things from a different perspective or a different angle. Another thing, just because I do yoga, whenever I see this card, it's like, get on your mat, girl. And honestly, I haven't been doing near enough yoga. I've been on the roads more. I've been a road warrior lately, so I need to do some more yoga. And I guess this means that y'all could probably employ the use of yoga as well. Nothing has helped me more with my anger issues than yoga. Seriously. I started doing yoga about 2 years before the fire happened, and when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep because of bad dreams, or I think I hear something, or I think I smell something, because yes, I still struggle with that, I get up and I do yoga. And I try to look at my life from a different perspective. Not of one of fear, but of one of gratitude that I'm here. For a long time I felt like I shouldn't be. But I'm grateful that I'm here. It opened my eyes to the world of astrology and how it speaks in my life and in the world. And astrology opened me up to the world of tarot and how it also speaks. So, Sagittarius, it looks like you're needing a new perspective. If it's not in your 12th house, we can look at it from a communication standpoint, because 1 + 2 is 3. And communication, or the 3rd house, speaks to communication. Also siblings, neighbors, and cousins, and short distance journeys. And you're not having any third house energy with the new moon, but the full moon lunar eclipse is happening in your third house. So this may be a situation where you need a new perspective around the eclipse. Sorry. The major background color of this card is gray, which to me feels like it's a foggy, unclear time for you, whatever this situation is that you need a new perspective on. And that's why you need the new perspective, is because it is unclear. Approaching it from your normal path isn't giving you the perspective that you need. You need to look at it from a different angle. And that can be literally or that can be figuratively. Just depends on your situation. Sorry, I need a drink. Thirsty. My throat's been raspy. Alright, the second card that you got is the Queen of Swords, upright. And I like that she's upright because for me this represents someone using their words to defend, and they're coming from an objective viewpoint. She's very fair and balanced. That is not me trying to use the catchphrase of Fox News. Sorry. Queen of Swords could represent air sign energy. The air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. It does not have to be her sun sign. It could be the moon or the rising sign. It does not have to be a female, but because she's showing up as a queen, it is definite feminine energy that is around. The moons represent the feminine energy as well. The lunation, the lunar cycles, babies are born around the lunar cycles. Menstrual cycles are due to the lunar cycles. Every 28 days we have a new moon. Every 28 days we have a new cycle, if you're a female and your reproductive organs are working properly. Alright. I don't know why I went there, but we went there. I love that there are no clouds around her head. It means that she's clear-headed. She's clear in her thoughts, and she has a point to make, and she's able to do it in a clear and succinct way. You may want to look to a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius to help you in your reasoning of what is going on right now. They may be the individual that you need. The Queen of Swords also represents like a lawyer type energy for me, and you are having 9th house energy, which could speak to the law. If that's the case, put it in the comments below so we know how it's working with you. The final card that you got in the tarot portion is the Moon, which is kind of funny because I do my readings around the lunar cycles. The Moon represents the zodiac sign Pisces, but it could also speak to Cancer because of this crab right here. I think of Cancer more than Pisces, but you know, it is symbolized by Pisces. That's how I was taught anyways. It's the 18th card of the Major Arcana. 1 plus 8 is 9. You are having 9th house energy, the moon and the sun. Do you see how it's the sun and the moon? The sun and the moon are in the 9th house. The sun has got an easy flow to your 1st house with Saturn in there. This new moon may be shining a light on a situation. This new moon may be speaking to the eclipse that's coming up. For me, this represents following your instincts and your intuition because the moon represents your response. I think that if you are going to have a response, you need to follow your gut in it. That's what this moon card says to me. Do your homework and make sure that you've got facts to back up whatever it is that you're doing, but you don't always have to have I feel like if you approach it from a different situation, okay, you're going to have to approach this parent, this authority figure, this whoever, this judge, this Aries, whoever this emperor is for you, you're going to have to approach them, but you've got to bring it from a different perspective. And I think that the moon, following your instincts, following your gut, is going to lead you to the right words that will convince this emperor, this boss, this authority figure to siding with you. Because you are having the Mercury and Jupiter in your career sector. You could be talking with a boss about possibly a raise, because Venus will be moving in there on the 6th. Or possibly why you need more hours. You're making your case, and you're following your instincts, which is good. The cards total up to 34. 3 plus 4 is 7. You aren't having any direct astrological 7th house energy, but the 7th house speaks to partnerships, identification with others, counseling, and open enemies. Open enemies could be like testifying in open court against someone. And the 7th house is actually ruled by Libra, which is an air sign, which could be speaking once again to this Queen of Swords. So that's what Tarot is bringing forth for you. The Oracle card that I pulled for you is Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats, and I love this. I love this card. It's so pretty. It's got so much going on in it. I feel like this is your intuition spinning you pearls of wisdom. You're not afraid to follow your instincts. There's the little Cancer crab again, literally in your ear, buzzing, telling you what to say. This nest up here always makes me think of the nest egg, saving for a rainy day. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get a better look. And do you see how there's leaves that look like autumn leaves, like they've changed colors and they've fallen? This could be a situation. This new moon could be a seed that's planted that you find out more growth about in the fall months, which would be nice. She's got her eyes closed. She's following her intuition as well. Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats is the number 21 card in this Oracle deck. 2 plus 1 is 3, and that speaks to the 3rd house. Communication, short distance journeys, cousins, siblings, and neighbors. And you are having the full moon lunar eclipse in your 3rd house, which could speak to that. Communications isn't just the way that you speak. It is also the technology that you use, and it could also speak to the vehicle that you drive. Let me grab my book so I can give you a little bit of what the book says on Beyond the Mind, the Heart Beats. This oracle has a message for you. There is a way of the mind which can make mountains out of molehills, even when it thinks it's turning mountains into molehills. Then there is the way of the heart. It is a subterranean and moves subtly beneath the possible obstacles, intelligently shifting with exquisite sensitivity, sensing the way forward through dangerous pathways, and responding to what is before it, even occurs in the physical world. I'm sorry, I was distracted by the noises outside. However, with the heart's intelligence, we cannot see and know in the same way that we do when we allow the mind to direct us. We have to be open for another way if we want to benefit from the innate intelligence of the heart. The mind sees, plans, and strategizes, but the heart feels, responds, senses, and intuits. When we walk the path of the heart, we must feel and respond rather than plan our way. And it's a different way to live and create. It's much closer to the earth and the source of life itself. It is not for those who are lacking in courage and trust, but you are not one of those. You're being asked to trust your heart and to drop into it. The mind is important, but it cannot supplant the heart. The role of the mind is to serve the truths of the heart. That is, to create the spacious chamber of receptiveness into which the sacred rhythm of your heartbeat can resound. This oracle comes with guidance for you. Deep within You know what to do, and you know what is true. It matters not whether the mind and its plans seem to agree with your inner sense. Your willingness to trust your heart and to rebel against fear will serve you well. Let your heart lead you. Be sure of your faith and trust in what you feel. You are now in a position that is more powerful than ever because you are allowing yourself to be guided by your heart, a heart that beats in harmony with the heart of all existence. Your affairs are in accord with love, and no matter what may appear to be at times, all is unfolding according to that greater love, you included. Sagittarius, I hope that this reading was empowering for you. I hope that it enlightens your path in some way. If it does, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you for the full moon series. Please take care of yourself. Once again, go check out, if nothing else, go check out the Antaurus video, because it is very important that you understand what might be coming forth for you with it, dealing with your first house. I'm only doing this to give you as much information as possible. Please take care of yourself. Please be kind to yourself and kind to others. And until the full moon videos, namaste, y'all.